Hey, everybody. I'm back down in my basement again for another social media quarantine talk. I wore my Detroit Tigers cap today. Today's talk is going to be about the sports industry, um, what they are doing, sports leagues, sports teams, what things they could be doing better, and some questions from you guys for you guys to give me your feedback on. If you're like me, you really miss sports. My biggest miss this year was opening day. I love breaking out the vino and watching an afternoon 120 game, day game with the Tigers or someone else. And it just didn't happen this year. So hopefully these sports get started up again. Hopefully we're not in quarantine too much longer, maybe another month it looks like for some states. I don't know what Illinois is doing. But thanks for sitting around for this one. Let's go over. We're going to talk about what major sports leagues are currently doing, what individual sports teams are doing, what could both leagues and teams do better. I'm going to have some questions for you guys. Before we begin, one thing I wanted to put out there was this social media quarantine talk had some help. One, we took on a brand new small business client called Sports Booze. Check them out. They do t-shirts involving sports, a lot of great stuff with golf, baseball, and other types of stuff. They're having a tough time right now just because of COVID-19, like every other small business. But I wanted to throw a shout out to them in this talk to go check them out at Sports. And then there's a Z, so SPORTZ Booze. Check them out on Instagram. They're a great small business company by two guys up in Milwaukee. Also, we do social media for the Las Vegas Raiders industry owners out in Vegas, and they provided us with a lot of good information about what the NFL is doing and what other different sports teams are doing. So we're going to get to some of that information in this quarantine talk. So big shout out to them as well. Let's just get right into it, right? What are major sports leagues currently doing? If you're like me, you've already noticed this. I probably don't even have to bring this up in this talk, but number one, they're sharing old moments and great moments. So even last night, like if you look at ESPN, the Last Dance for the Bulls came out. Great documentary, awesome stuff. If you look at other sports leagues like MLB, NBA, NASCAR, on social media, Instagram, they're posting some great old memories. NHL is doing like game of the week, all on Instagram TV, some on Facebook. They're just doing a tremendous job of sharing some of the great old memories that we like to watch or that we remember. So that's really cool. It's good stuff. Teaching, number two, right? Teaching skills and working with athletes. So a lot of the sports leagues, I'll give you PGA as an example, are like actually doing chipping lessons on Instagram. Some of them, like NBA, are doing shot drills, showing different coaches from the NBA are doing, skills drills on Instagram and on Facebook. So that's really good stuff too, teaching skills, and many of the athletes are participating in this as well, which is awesome. So some really good stuff. The third thing they're doing is a lot of trivia, right? A lot of games involving fans on their social media channels. And that's awesome. We need something to keep us going right now. So the fact that, you could win a prize like a jersey or something, or even 2 tickets to a game in the future, that's fantastic. It keeps us involved in the sports. It keeps us focused on the sports. So like in general, I'm not going to belabor these points because most everyone in the United States is a pretty big sports fan of one of the leagues, and you know what they're doing. So we didn't waste that much time. Spec Media, or my team, didn't waste that much time like breaking down what they're doing, because they're really doing a good job, right? There's nothing against what they're doing. What are individual sports teams doing? In this deck, we didn't list them all out, but we have some very specific examples, and they're in the PDF that's already on our Instagram channels, Facebook channels, everything, you name it, LinkedIn. So check out the 3 individual case studies we have. The first one is the Blackhawks out here in Chicago. they're having Blackhawks players and coaches. This is awesome, and you'll see it in this PDF. Doing story time for kids. So they're literally sending out a tweet or a Facebook message earlier in the day and say, tonight's story time for the kids. Get your kids on the Facebook channel, and we're going to do story time with one of the Blackhawks players. I think yesterday was Jonathan Toews doing a story time, and then you can get all your kids and hear Jonathan Toews read a story. That's pretty cool. The second one is the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions is actually working in conjunction with Zoom, and they're doing rewatch parties. So you get on Zoom, they started off through Twitter and through Instagram, and what they do is they basically post a ticket to the game. You don't have to pay, but if you they give out a certain random number of people that can join, and then they'll have 60 people on a Zoom call where they can all talk to each other, be fans on Zoom, and rewatch the Detroit Lions game, which is just phenomenal. It's really good stuff from the Detroit Lions. And then the third example is the New Orleans Pelicans. New Orleans just has been hit hard with COVID and the corona crisis down there, but the Pelicans are doing Fitness Fridays with coaches, trainers, and staff. It's a great way. They've teamed up with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Louisiana, which is just awesome. And they're doing like Fitness Fridays on Instagram. So any type of fitness instruction, things for people in that area and across the nation for that matter to get in shape with the New Orleans Pelicans. So the sports teams, just like the sports leagues, are doing a fantastic job. I can't really fault them. And that's not the purpose of these talks, is faulting them. It's just pointing out what they're doing and maybe giving these ideas. Like the point of really why we're doing this one is to give ideas out that are currently out there to other sports teams, maybe even the local teams. You know, if you, let's say out here we have the Kane County Cougars, which are a minor league baseball team. You know, if they hear this or see this, it's a great resource for them to look at the PDF that we have and then also find out what big sports teams are doing, and maybe they can duplicate that. You know, copying someone is the sincerest form of flattery, so it's a good thing. We also did comprise really what more could both leagues and teams be doing. So there's always more. We can always do more, especially during this time, right? Number one is, how about some giveaways that involve nurses and the frontline medical workers, and not like a contest. So there's a lot of contests being done, but we're just talking about, how about like a bunch of jerseys to the nurses that are working in the area? Let's say, you know, you're a sports team, why not give them out? Or how about like, you know, just some like swag from a different sports team to the nurses and the medical workers. I mean, these people, the doctors, these people are busting their butts every day, you know, saving lives. And, you know, give them a shout. You know, generosity goes a long way during this time, and putting it out there would be awesome. Number two is to share posts, but share posts from the venue workers and from the restaurants and the different people in the stadiums. I think that's a big forgotten thing in all of this, you know, is if you take a team like the Chicago Bears, right, out here in Chicago, you know, there's tons of restaurants in the stadium, and there's tons of workers that are delivering the beer and delivering the hot dogs. And these people don't have jobs right now. You know, they're dependent on the stadium. They're dependent on the games. And right now there's no games. So I think the leagues and the teams could do a great job of, if they ended up sharing some posts, like finding out who were some of the workers in those stadiums, calling them out, you know, giving them something online through Facebook or through Instagram, or even just calling out the restaurants. You know, for example, in Chicago Stadium, you know, you have Bona Beef. I mean, not Chicago Stadium, Soldiers Field, you have Bona Beef. You know, calling out that industry, that restaurant industry, and saying, hey, we love you guys. You know, thanks for being part of the Bears. Thanks for being part of us, you know? Or maybe even another idea, and this is just me thinking off the top of my head, is why not, you know, like on a Fitness Friday, like the Pelicans are doing, why not, you know, have one of those restaurants, or this week's Fitness Friday is like sponsored by, you know, some of the restaurant workers or some of the venue workers. That would be awesome. So sharing posts, and remember that there's this whole like ecosystem within a team. And it's the stadium, it's the people that work at the stadium, it's the people that park the cars, it's the people that do security. So many jobs dependent on just one sports team. Sharing posts from these people, just calling them out and telling them that you love them on social media is so important for the sports teams and for the leagues. The last one on this is just motivate, inspire, and make us cheer. You know, I think it was a funny story. Like, I was having a call with some of my friends, a Zoom call, and we're all big sports guys. We do a college fantasy league, and we were just all like talking about like, God, we just want something live. We want some type of live sport, something that we don't know the outcome already. I mean, the leagues are doing a great job of posting these older games, but we know the outcomes, right? Give us something that we don't know the outcome of. Motivate us, inspire us. You know, I'll put it in the sports teams and the sports leagues' hands to figure something out. And maybe we'll follow this up with some examples from my creative team. But motivate, inspire us, and make us cheer again, please. I got to take a deep breath after that one. The last one is just 2 questions for you guys out there. Again, just respond either on our Instagram channels or Facebook. I want to hear from you guys, know that you're out there. Question number 1, which league do you think is going to open first? If I had to take a guess on this, I'm going to go with the PGA Tour. There's been rumors of it that they could actually keep some distance and still be on the links. I think that would be awesome. You tell me, which league do you think will open first? Question number 2 is, which league do you miss the most? So I started this whole talk saying I miss baseball the most, and I probably do. I miss a lot of like just daily games. I'd be working from home and I can catch an afternoon game or even a night game, that goes into extra innings. I really miss baseball, but I want to hear from you guys. Which league do you miss the most? And that's pretty much it. Thanks for joining us on this social media quarantine talk. We're going to have another one for you next week or this week. And take care, everyone. Be safe. Be well. Cheers.